Good day to all. We are Group 6, represent our case study which is air pollution in China due to population bloom. So this is my group member. So without any wasting any more time, I'm going to explain to you a brief background regarding our case study. So in 2016, pollution red alerts declared in China, capital and 21 other cities due to toxic smoke in the air. Following this, the government ordered thousands of vehicles off the roads and told the residents to stay indoors and shut schools for 5 days. Nurseries and primary schools across Beijing had been told to close until the smoke is lifted. Roadworks were suspended. All the and dirty high emission vehicles were forbidden from taking to the roads, and heavily pollutant industries such as steel plants were ordered to halt or slow their operation. More than 100 flights were cancelled on that 5 days, and all intercity buses were halted at the capital airport. All the city's highways were also shut as low visibility made driving hazardous for the residents.
Hello everyone, I'm Kenneth, and now I'm going to present the causes. There are two main factors which causes air pollution in China from the perspective of population bloom. They are inefficient urban planning and also coal-powered factories and private vehicles. Let us talk about inefficient urban planning. From these statistics, we can know how high is the urbanization rate. This is due to the establishment of special economic zones or open economic zones which aim to attract investors from all around the globe. So what happens next year is very terrifying. We have a substantial amount of costs due to health effects and death tolls due to air pollution in China. So what happened in Beijing is there is too much outlying. Outlying refers to a new development of vacant land beyond developing areas. So you can see here, there is some development here and here around the city outskirts near the mountain. Apparently there are too much outlying, right? So what are the effects? You can see from here, there is a low level of construction work. This outlying effect also overburdens the city central business district area, which causes congestion, heat island effect, air pollution, and many more. So what happens next year is traffic congestion, because if you are living here and you want to work at the city outskirts, definitely you need a private vehicle to drive you from here to here. And that's how the emissions from private vehicles increases. And this is of course me, myself, who flew all the way to Beijing to study for this assignment. Let us talk about coal-powered factories and private vehicles next. These are the images of some coal-powered generation facilities. So, the incident here is very important, which is the Beijing smoke where pollution red alert is declared in China's capital Beijing and 21 other cities. So what can we learn from this incident is, the main culprit are the coal-powered factories. It is because inefficient technologies and procedures are being applied. And since everyone wants cheap things, so they use cheap yet low quality high sulfur coal, and there is a lack of proper regulations. What makes matters worse is China even plans to expand their coal plant capacity to boost the post-virus economy. Next, let us talk about private vehicles. You can see there's a lot of emission here, nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, and volatile organic compounds emission from private vehicles. Since everyone is becoming more and more richer in China, so the car ownership rate has increased to around 243 million vehicles. And these are the images of air pollution in Beijing and also some coal-powered factories.
Hey, Yemen here. I'm going to tell you what's the impacts of air pollution in different aspects, such as the public health, environment, and the China economy. For public health, there are three negative impacts, which are the emphysema and bronchitis, high mortality risk, and a high premature mortality. Let's focus on the health impacts, the emphysema and bronchitis. Chemicals such as the nitrous oxide enter our lung through breathing. It will accumulate and damage the lung tissue. Over time, the inner walls of the alveoli will be weakened and ruptured, creating a larger airspace. This reduces the surface area and amount of oxygen in the lung. Most people with emphysema will also have the chronic bronchitis, the inflammations of airway. Both emphysema and bronchitis will make up the chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which we call COPD. Second, the air pollution increased the risk of morbidity. The evidence from cohort study in China indicate that long-term exposure to air pollution can damage our respiratory, cardiovascular, and immune system, which make us vulnerable to stroke, ischemic heart disease, COPD, and lung cancer. In 2017, 1.24 million people died from this particular disease attributed to air pollution. This is because the high concentrations of polluted air will worsen the disease condition and speed up the malfunctions of the human system. In addition, the exposure to airborne pollutant is harmful for the baby in the womb. It can cause low birth weights, which increase the risk of the infant mortality. The fine particle PM2.5 can harm the lung development, causing the chronic respiratory infection, asthma, and even death in children. The study shown that the total premature mortality in China was estimated to be 1.55 million per people in 2016. On the other hand, the air pollution affects more on environment, especially during the winter haze, because the drier and colder air will trap more pollution. In China, there is a confluence of natural phenomena called temperature inversion, will exhibit the air pollution in winter. For example, the Winter Olympic and Paralympic 2022 was held during the winter season in Beijing. During that time, the heavy smoke blanketed Beijing, and the PM2.5 was measured at 205 micrograms per meter cube on 24 January, which reached the very unhealthy level according to the AQI chart. This graph shows that the PM2.5 concentration increased during the winter season in China. The winter haze will also reduce the visibility and aesthetics of city. The appearance of buildings are darkened by the accumulations of soot. The metal surface of urban automobiles and the plant roof are also affected. Lastly, the air pollution can bring huge loss to the economy. The inconvenience caused by the haze can affect the operations of any authority such as school, transportation, and even city. For instance, the severe haze events of January 2013 forcing the closures of highway, the suspensions of outdoor construction, factory operation, and outdoor school activity. The study has evaluated that the direct economic loss caused by the haze event in China 2013. The total loss of health, traffic accident, highway revenue, and domestic flight delay or alternative or cancer is 23 billion renminbi in China.
Now, let's see how well China has been coping with air pollution in the past 2 decades. It's been done in 3 stages. The first phase lasts from 1998 to 2008, where they focus on reducing particulate matter and soot. And China's Olympic is the catalyst that bring down air pollutants in the year 2008. Then during the second phase, even though there's a bloom in China's economy and a growth in their population, they still managed to maintain their air quality, and the Clean Air Action Plan lasted from 2013 to 2017 is one of the most intense and effective plans implemented to target PM2.5. Indeed, China had done a great job in reducing their air pollutants. However, today, China's air quality is still at a worrying state, where the most dangerous pollutant is still 3.8 times above the limit set by WHO. Some Chinese citizens had noticed the seriousness of this air pollution, and they began to raise public awareness by collecting fresh air from the mountain and distribute it to those living in the city during a smoky days. While you might find this hilarious, but think about it, you ask those living 100 years back then, who would have ever thought that one day humans will need to buy water in the form of bottles? Well, we all like fashion, isn't it? Have you just bought some new clothes for this coming new year? Hiya, you are taking environmental pollution, but you are not aware that you are generating carbon footprint. Well, instead of buying clothes from H&M or Padini, why not consider buying this pink party dress by Zara made from recycled greenhouse gases and intended to bring down the carbon footprint? Wait, is that you in that image? But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you are sleepy, but are you wearing headphones while listening to this? How long have you been using your headphone already? The next time we are looking for a new headphone, try this purifying headphone by Dyson, where you can listen to me clearer, inhaling purer air, and prepare yourself to the inevitable increase in the amount of air pollutants in the near future. Next, I would like to introduce you to this cold clean air purifier. Well, you might be thinking, air purifier only ma. I also got one at my home. No. This is made from anion technology without blower nor filter like the one you have it. So how it works is that it releases anion into the air, electrifies the air pollutants, and segregate and sink them down. In simple words, it makes those tiny PM 2.5 into PM 10 or even larger particles that is less harmful to our body. Surprisingly, this advanced technology is invented by a group of young adults who have just graduated. So pay more attention to Dr. Lau's lecture and you might be the next one who can invent cool technology like this to help in mitigating air pollution.
So what we learned from our case study is we have our own thought about this, where Ziwei said that what's the point of becoming rich while struggling to get a breath of fresh air and putting our health at stake, dumping your hard-earned money for medical bills? While Kenneth said, no matter what happens in our life, we must seek for the root issues. While we live in society where those that do the greatest damage to humanity and nature reap the greatest financial rewards. So think about it. And lastly, Wen said that to deal with the global issues that imperil humanity is always not an personal effort. Instead, networking and commitment among people play crucial role. Everyone should reach a consensus and take initiative on the root problems to ensure our fundamental right: breathe clean air.
So what happens here is the Chinese government actually fined those for igniting outdoor barbecues and fires during the Red Alert Declaration incident. And besides, they also prohibit roadworks and vehicles on the road. But Dong Liansai, a Beijing-based climate and energy campaigner, he said coal power stations emissions are actually the main culprit. Hello!